Okay, hi everyone. So I am going to do my best to do a full in bed bath for you guys today. I'm camping with my family, so I'm in my travel trailer and definitely having to use our imagination on this video. So I hope it does well. So my first thing I did was knock on the door and enter my patient or resident's room. I introduced myself as Angie, their a student CNA today, and I asked if what their name was, and my patient told me that her name was Mary Smith and that she was born October 6, 1947, and I verified that with her ID badge. So I got two forms of identification. I told Mary, as she told me I could call her, that a nurse Kelly told me that she would be ready for a bed bath at about this time and asked if she was okay if I performed that for her, and she was happy for me to do so. So before I got started, I walked back out of the room, sanitizing my hands again, and went to the linen closet. While in the linen closet, I got 5 towels, 6 washcloths. I got a waterproof pad and a bath blanket, excuse me, a clean gown. And as I was walking back to my residence room, I was carrying that away from my body as to not touch my uniform. When I approached her room, I re-knocked on the door. I laid down a towel to put my clean linens on her bedside table and re-sanitized my hands again. Then I went and got her bath basin, her liquid soap, and went into the bathroom to fill up her water. I made the water, per Nurse Kelly's tip, a little bit warmer than usual. So by the time that I got to her, she was ready to have her bath. So I'm going to pause, and we're going to start with. Okay, hi Mary. I'm back with your bath water. Okay, hi Mary. I'm back with your bath water. I've tested it and it seems like a good temperature for myself. Would you mind testing it? Is it good? Great. Then we're going to get started today. And as you see, I put on my gloves for patient safety. So Mary, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with your face today. Is that okay? So I'm going to use the 4 corners technique on Mary, and I'm going to start with her eyes. I'm putting my clean washcloth into my water basin, and I'm wringing it out. And I'm not going to use any any soap on her washcloth. I'm going to take my first flap of my washcloth, and I'm going to wipe the eye. Next corner, wipe the eye. And then I'm going to go to the 3rd corner and wipe the opposite eye, and then the opposite eye. Okay, great, Mary, thank you. And then I'm going to take this washcloth and I'm going to put it in my dirty pile. So next I'm going to come on over and I'm going to grab a new washcloth and I'm going to put it in my wash basin. And as that's in the wash basin, I'm going to ask Mary if she wouldn't mind sitting up a little bit so I can cover her back of her head and the back of her body area with a towel, as so she doesn't get her bedding soiled or wet. And I'm going to come back in. And Mary, would you like to have soap on your face? Yes, I like soap on my face too, Mary, especially after camping with my family. I'm feeling a little bit dirty today. So I'm going to go ahead. I have my new towel. I have a liquid soap in a cup. So I'm going to come over, put some liquid soap over. So Mary, how was your weekend? I'm just starting at the top of her face and I'm wiping around Mary's face, in her ear, her upper lip. I'm being careful for those eyes, because especially considering Mary wanted soap on this washcloth. Down in her chin. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get behind her ears. And I'm reaching down into Mary's back of her neck on both sides. How does that feel, Mary? Excellent. So then I'm going to take that towel, I'm going to put it back in my water basin, and I'm wringing it out with fresh water, and I'm going to go through and wash the face, rinse the face. I'm going to show it because Mary doesn't have a very human face on myself. So I started with Mary, around the eye. Here I am just washing Mary's face. Behind her ear, behind her neck, and her neck area. Excellent. Great job, Mary. So I'm going to put that washcloth back into my water basin because I can continue using that one. And I have a towel. I'm going to come here and I'm going to pat dry Mary's face. How do you feel, Mary? You doing okay? So from there, I'm going to move down to Mary's limbs. So I'm going to gently take out the back of that towel. And I'm going to go ahead. And by the way, I also want to point out that I have ideally raised the bed position to a comfortable working spot. I have this guardrail down, but my guardrail on this side of her is continued up. And Mary, I made sure she's covered. She's nice and warm and comfortable. And I'm checking in with Mary during the bath to make sure that she is continued comfort. So, okay, we're going to start with the arm closest to me now. So Mary, I'm going to re-put on some soap. Take my washcloth. And I'm going to wash from the shoulder down on Mary. And I'm going to go to her hands, and I'm going to get her hands, and I'm going to clean every finger. And then I'm going to go ask Mary, depending on what my assignment sheet says and what the comfort level and physical ability is of my resident, if she is able, or if I'm able to get underneath that armpit, I'm going to get in there too for her. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to rinse, get that soap off. I'm going to go through the entire arm again. I'm going to rinse it off, and then I'm going to take my dry towel and I'm going to pat her dry. So I'm actually comfortable with a reach in this position. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that same exact thing for her opposite arm. So I'm going to go down her arm. I'm going to get every finger. I'm going to get under her arm a little bit if she has the ability to. So Mary, at this point, I'm going to get your chest and back. Are you feeling warm? So Mary has a cover on her, and I'm just going to lightly raise so that Mary stays comfortable, and I'm going to take my wash and my new soap that I put on, and I'm going to clean Mary's chest area, and I'm going to give her her dignity and her privacy and make sure that she keeps warm while making sure that I'm able to see her chest. I lift underneath Mary's breast to make sure there's no pressure ulcers, no redness starting, nothing that's looking odd to me in that area. So then I'm going to wash and rinse that area. We're going to pat dry, and then meanwhile we're keep moving the towel down and keep making sure that Mary's nice and dry and comfortable. So now we're working to Mary's legs. Meanwhile, I'm having a conversation with Mary. I'm talking about what she did. She's telling me that she played bridge. She started her bridge club with her friends here at the assisted living facility that we're at. And I'm working from high to low in the legs. And again, to the comfort of my resident and based on her range of motion and her sheets, I'm watching that skin. I'm looking at what feels comfortable or not comfortable for her to move. I'm getting down into her feet, getting every toe, and then I go ahead and come through for a rinse again. Same thing, rinsing it off. And then, as I had mentioned, I feel comfortable reaching, so I'm going ahead and reaching across and doing the same for the other side. Okay, guys, so at this point, we're ready for her perineum care. So, Mary, how are you feeling right now? Are you comfortable? I'm going to go change your water for you. So at this point, making sure that Mary's covered, she's warm, she's dry, and by the way, at the beginning, I did fully close the curtain Actually, Mary has a private room too, so our door is closed and nobody can enter. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lower the bed. I'm going to put up my side rail. I'm going to take my things. I'm going to go over into the bathroom. I'm going to dump my water, wash out my bath basin. I'm going to get new water. And then when I come back, I sanitized and re-gloves. So different pair of gloves for her. So, okay, Mary, I tested the water. It feels just about what it did before, which you said was perfect. Do you want to test again? And it's good. So Mary, we're going to go ahead, and again, I've raised my bed back up and put the rails on. I can't remember if I told you that again. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to cover Mary up so only her necessary parts are uncovered, so she feels dignified and that she has an adequate amount of privacy. So I'm going to once again use the 4-corner technique on Mary. So this is a new washcloth, 4 corners. I put soap on it. I'm going to take one. I'm going to work from the upper labia, outer lip, down. Next one, inner labia, left lip, down. And then to the other side, up to down, up to down. Now this one's going in my dirty pile. I've got a new washcloth for rinsing that has been sitting in my bucket. I'm going to wring that out, and same thing, 4-corner technique, up to down, outer, up to down, inner, up to down, inner, up to down, outer, inner, outer, inner, outer. Okay, so Mary, we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll you over onto your back. So Mary's on her back, and I'm also going to just make sure that the pad, the waterproof pad that I put down is nice and smooth, and just double check that. And I'm going back to my body washcloth because before I didn't turn her over. I knew I was going to have to turn her over for this care. So I'm going to go back to that one. And again, nothing that was ever dirty went back into that water. So I'm going to wash her back. And then I'm going to rinse her back, and then I'm going to pat dry her back. Okay, and then we're going to cover this back up with blankets to keep her nice and covered. And then we're going to go to her behind region, and we're going to go from the rectum out, in, and up, and out, and up, and out. New washcloth, by the way, that was a new washcloth. That was not the washcloth I used for her back. It's definitely harder to talk this all out, right? And then we're going to come in for a rinse. Okay. I'm going to rinse that same way I did it. Okay, so while I have Mary on the side, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to, and pat dry her. New towel for pat drying in the perineum area. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to roll up her underproof pad. I'm going to make sure that her blankets are nice and smooth, that nothing crazy is happening, so that when she lays back down on her back, she's not uncomfortable. We're going to roll over together. I'm going to cover her up completely. I'm going to make sure that her blankets are nice for her. And then I'm going to put up my rails, and I'm going to lower her down. And then I'm going to go over, I'm going to get rid of all of my dirty laundry. And I'm sorry, Mary, first before I go walk my dirty laundry out in the hallway, I'm going to give you your call light just in case something happens in those couple feet. So I'm going to take my dirty laundry, walk it out to the hallway. It's right outside her door. I put it in. I come in. I'm going to take off my gloves, pinch, and remove, and remove. Those are going in the garbage. Sanitizing. So when I'm sanitizing, friction, 20 seconds or if it dries after that, and then I'm going to move in between my fingers. All right, Mary, it was a pleasure doing your bath today. Is there anything at all I can help you with? Absolutely, I can get you some water. So I'm going to go get Mary some water and get her whatever else we can do. Thanks for watching. Bye.